Sam knew something was wrong the moment the clock sounded louder than the kitchen. The second hand kept moving like it was in a hurry, but the house felt stuck. Warm air rose from the oven, carrying the smell of roasted chicken, soft bread, and cinnamon tea. Sam had cooked like it was the old days, when the table never stayed empty for long. 3 plates were set in front of 3 chairs. 3 chairs that nobody was sitting in. Sam stood still for a moment, wiping his hands on a towel. He stared at the chairs as if they might answer him. Then he forced a small smile and checked the time again. It was Christmas Eve. Outside, the street was covered in fresh snow. Most houses had glowing lights in their windows. In some homes, laughter spilled out each time a door opened. People were arriving with gift bags, hugs, and loud greetings. Sam had prepared all day for that same feeling. He had cleaned the living room, even the corners behind the couch. He had hung a simple wreath on the door. He had fixed the old string of tree lights so they would not blink out in the middle. He had placed a small tree in the corner and wrapped a few gifts under it. The gifts were not expensive, but they were careful. 3 small boxes, each with neat writing on top. Liam, Rose, Ben. Sam wrote the names slowly, taking his time. He liked the small details. He liked making things feel real, like family still meant something that could be held and touched. He kept glancing at his phone on the table. No calls. No messages. Sam tried to stay calm. He told himself the roads were slippery. He told himself traffic could be slow. He told himself his children might be stopping somewhere first, maybe picking up dessert, maybe bringing extra gifts. Sam wanted to believe it because believing felt better than the other option. He turned the tea kettle off and poured the tea into 4 cups. 1 cup for him and 1 for each child. He placed the cups on the table, then paused, realizing how it looked. 4 cups. 1 person. He quietly removed 2 cups and placed them back on the counter. Then he stood there for a while, listening to the low hum of the heater and the soft crackle of the tree lights. Sam was not a weak man, but Christmas Eve had a way of making memories heavy. He remembered when Liam was small and used to run into the house with snow stuck to his hair. Sam would shake him gently, pretending he was angry, but he always laughed. He remembered Rose singing along to holiday songs even when she did not know the words. He remembered Ben building little forts with blankets and pillows, calling them castles. Back then, the house felt alive. Now it felt like a place that used to be alive. Sam picked up his phone and tried calling Liam. It rang. Then stopped. Voicemail. Sam did not leave a message. He tried Rose next. No answer. He tried Ben. The phone rang once, then ended. Sam stared at the screen. His fingers tightened around the phone. His throat felt dry, even though the tea was hot and waiting. He sat down slowly at the table. The chair creaked under his weight. He looked at the food and forced himself to breathe. Then a message appeared. Sam's eyes moved to the screen. For a moment, he did not want to open it. It was strange how a small notification could feel like a door that led to either comfort or pain. He tapped it anyway. Dad, we are not coming tonight. We have other plans. Hope you understand. That was it. No apology. No call. No promise to come tomorrow. Just a sentence that sounded like it was written in a hurry, like he was a task that needed to be cleared off someone's list. Sam read the message again, slower this time, as if reading it slower would change the meaning. It did not. His eyes drifted toward the gifts under the tree. He had picked them with care. Liam liked practical things, so Sam had bought him something useful. Rose liked warm scarves, so Sam had chosen one with soft fabric. Ben liked tools, so Sam had found a small set that looked strong. Sam did not buy gifts to show off. He bought gifts to say, I remembered you. He set the phone down and looked at the table. He had worked extra hours for those 3 children when they were young. He had skipped meals so they could have seconds. He had fixed their bikes, their shoes, their broken toys, and their broken hearts when life disappointed them. He had never asked for anything in return. Not money. Not praise. Just time. Just a visit. Just one night. Sam stood up and walked to the kitchen. His movements were slow, like his body was carrying more than just age. He turned off the oven and began putting the food away. He wrapped the bread carefully. He sealed the meat in a container. He placed everything in the fridge as if he was saving it for a future that still mattered. After that, he washed the dishes he had not even used. It did not make sense, but it gave his hands something to do. It kept him from sitting too long with the words on the phone. When he finished, he turned off the kitchen lights. The room went dark, leaving only the soft glow of the tree in the corner. Sam walked to the tree and stood there. The lights reflected in his eyes. He looked at the gifts again. He thought about taking them back. He thought about leaving them under the tree forever. He thought about calling his children again and telling them how much it hurt. But Sam did none of those things. Instead, he put on his coat. It was an old coat, thick but worn at the elbows. He pulled on his gloves and opened the door. Cold air rushed in like it had been waiting for him. Sam stepped outside into the snow. The night was quiet. The streetlights made the snow look like silver dust. Sam started walking, not because he had somewhere to go, but because staying inside felt worse. He passed houses filled with sound. He saw silhouettes moving behind curtains. He smelled food and heard music. He kept walking, hands deep in his pockets, head slightly down, trying to disappear into the cold. Then he heard something different. A low rumble. Engines. Not cars. Motorcycles. The sound grew louder, then closer. A small group of bikes rolled down the street, their headlights bright and steady. They moved with confidence, like they belonged to the road and the night. Sam stopped near the sidewalk, letting them pass. But one bike slowed down. Then, another. A rider at the back turned his head and looked directly at Sam. The rider's helmet reflected the streetlight. His jacket was dark and heavy. He did not look like someone who cared about Christmas lights or warm dinners. Yet he kept looking at Sam as if he had noticed something most people would ignore. Sam's breath came out in white clouds. He felt a strange mix of fear and curiosity. The rider raised a hand slightly, not a wave, more like a question. Sam did not move. And that was the moment Sam realized his Christmas Eve was not over. It was just beginning. The motorcycles slowed until their engines became a deep, steady hum. Snow gathered on the black road, but the riders moved with ease, like they had faced worse nights than this. One bike rolled closer to the curb and stopped a few steps away from Sam. The rider removed his helmet. He was a large man with a calm face and tired eyes. A thick jacket covered his shoulders, marked with a symbol Sam had seen before but never up close. The man did not look angry or loud. He looked focused. "You all right, old-timer?" the rider asked. His voice was low, steady, not unkind. Sam hesitated. He was not used to strangers asking if he was fine. Most people walked past him these days, eyes forward, busy with their own lives. "I am fine," Sam said after a moment. The rider studied him for a second longer. Snow rested on Sam's coat, on his hat, on his shoulders. The rider looked past Sam toward the small house with the glowing tree inside. "Christmas Eve," the rider said. "Not many folks walk alone tonight." Sam nodded slowly. "I needed air." The rider glanced back at the group. The other bikes had stopped as well. Some riders stayed seated. Others turned off their engines. None of them spoke. The rider looked back at Sam. "Name's Mark." "Sam," Sam replied. Mark nodded once. "You live here?" "Yes." Mark took a step closer, careful not to crowd him. "You look like someone carrying more than cold weather." Sam almost laughed, but the sound never came out. He had carried many things in his life. Heavy tools. Heavy boxes. Heavy worries. Tonight felt heavier than most. "My children were supposed to come," Sam said quietly. Mark did not interrupt. They did not, Sam continued. They had other plans. The words sounded flat, like Sam was reporting the weather. But his hands trembled slightly inside his gloves. Mark was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "That hurts." Sam looked at him, surprised. "Yes," Sam said. "It does." The writer nodded again. "You want company tonight?" Sam blinked. "Company? Just someone to sit and drink something warm," Mark said. "No stories if you do not want. No noise." Sam looked past Mark at the other writers. Big men. Heavy jackets. Loud machines. They did not look like the kind of people who sat under Christmas trees. "I do not want to be trouble," Sam said. Mark shook his head. "You are not trouble." The other riders watched quietly. One of them stepped off his bike and crossed his arms, nodding once, like he agreed with whatever Mark decided. Sam felt something shift inside him. Pride told him to refuse. Loneliness told him to accept. He chose loneliness. "You can come in," Sam said. Mark smiled, just a little. Sam unlocked the door and stepped inside. Warm air met them. The smell of food still lingered. Mark removed his boots near the door without being asked. "You keep a clean place," Mark said. "It is easier now," Sam replied. Mark looked around. He noticed the table set for more than one person. He noticed the gifts under the tree. He did not comment. Sam poured tea into 2 cups. His hands steadied as he worked. Mark sat at the table, resting his helmet beside him. "This tea smells good," Mark said. "It is simple," Sam replied. "But warm." That was enough. They drank in silence for a moment. Outside, the motorcycles remained parked. The riders waited without complaint. Mark finally spoke. "I ride with these guys," he said. "We look rough. But we try to watch the road. We try to watch people." Sam nodded. "Why stop for me?" Mark looked down at his cup. "Because I know what it feels like to be forgotten." Sam looked at him carefully. The large man did not look weak. But his eyes held something old and heavy. "I had family once," Mark continued. "Things broke. Some things never got fixed." Sam understood that kind of break. "You are kind," Sam said. Mark shrugged. "Sometimes kindness is all we have left." They sat for a while. The clock ticked. The tree lights glowed. Sam felt his chest loosen, just a little. Then there was a knock at the door. Sam froze. Mark stood. "I will check." He opened the door. Cold rushed in again. One by one, the riders stepped inside, careful and respectful. They removed their boots. They stood quietly, filling the small room with large shapes and soft voices. One man held a small bag. Another held a box wrapped in plain paper. "We did not want him to be alone," one rider said. Sam did not know what to say. He had prepared food for 4. Now there were many more. "There is food," Sam said, uncertain. "We can help," Mark replied. Soon, the kitchen filled with movement. Plates were brought out. Chairs were pulled close. Laughter did not explode, but it appeared slowly, like warmth returning to cold hands. Sam watched it all like a dream. They ate together. They spoke about roads, weather, and small memories. No one asked Sam why his children did not come. No one judged. After dinner, Mark placed the wrapped box under the tree. "For you," Mark said. Sam shook his head. "I cannot accept." Mark placed a hand on Sam's shoulder. "You already did. You accepted us." Sam swallowed hard. Later, as the night deepened, engines started again. The riders gathered their gear. Mark put on his helmet. "Thank you for letting us in," Mark said. "Thank you for stopping," Sam replied. Mark paused at the door. "You should not walk alone on nights like this." Sam nodded. As the motorcycles rolled away, Sam stood at the window, watching their lights fade into the snow. For the first time that night, he did not feel invisible. But across town, 3 people were laughing at another table. And none of them knew what they had just lost. Morning came slowly, like it was unsure whether it was welcome. Soft light slipped through the window and rested on the floor. The tree lights were still on, glowing faintly, tired but steady. Sam woke in his chair, his coat folded neatly beside him. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then he remembered. The empty chairs. The message. The riders who filled the house with warmth when it mattered most. Sam stood and stretched carefully. His back ached, but it was a familiar pain. He turned off the tree lights and opened the curtains. Snow had piled higher overnight. The street was quiet, calm, clean. Christmas morning. Sam brewed coffee and sat at the table. He looked at the extra chairs again. This time, they did not feel as heavy. Something had changed. He could not explain it, but the sharp edge of the night before had softened. He took out his phone. No new messages. Sam did not feel surprised. He felt tired, but not empty. After breakfast, Sam decided to walk. The cold helped him think. Neighbors waved from porches. Some wished him a happy day. Sam smiled back. His smile was small, but real. As he reached the end of the block, he saw something unexpected. The motorcycles were parked near the corner store. All of them. Sam stopped. Mark leaned against his bike, talking to another rider. When he saw Sam, he straightened and smiled. "Morning, Sam," Mark called out. "You are still here," Sam said. Mark nodded. "We stay close on days like this." Another rider stepped forward. "We are doing a food run. Some folks do not get much today." Sam looked at the boxes stacked near the bikes. Bread. Cans. Warm meals. "You help people," Sam said. "We try," Mark replied. Sam felt a pull inside him. A need to do something instead of sitting with thoughts. "I can help," Sam said. Mark studied him. "You sure?" Sam nodded. "I have time." They handed Sam a thick jacket with a bright strip on the back so cars could see him. Sam put it on. It felt heavy, but useful. They walked together, delivering food to small homes and quiet apartments. Sam knocked on doors. He smiled. He spoke gently. People smiled back. One woman held his hand and thanked him with wet eyes. One man bowed his head in silence. With each stop, Sam felt lighter. By midday, his phone buzzed. Sam looked at the screen. A call from Liam. Sam stopped walking. Mark noticed. "You want privacy?" Sam nodded. He stepped aside and answered. "Hello," Sam said. "Dad," Liam said. His voice sounded rushed. "Listen, I wanted to check in." Sam closed his eyes. "Yes," he said. "We were busy last night," Liam continued. "Things got late." Sam waited. "We might come by later," Liam said. No promises. No apology. No question. Just another maybe. Sam took a breath. "I had company," he said. There was a pause. "Company?" "Yes," Sam replied. "People who cared enough to stop." Liam was quiet. "We will talk later," Liam said. The call ended. Sam lowered the phone. His hands were steady. Mark walked over. "You okay?" Sam nodded. "I am." And he meant it. They finished the last delivery as the sun dipped low. The riders gathered again near the bikes. Laughter rolled softly between them. Mark handed Sam a small card. "If you ever need us," Mark said, "call." Sam held the card like it mattered. That evening, Sam returned home. The house felt different. Not fuller, but warmer. Like it remembered the night before. He reheated food and ate slowly. Then there was another knock. Sam froze again, but this time it was different. He opened the door. Rose stood there. Ben was behind her. They looked uncomfortable. "Dad," Rose said. "We heard you were with bikers." Sam looked at them calmly. "Yes," he said. Ben frowned. "That sounds dangerous." Sam smiled softly. "They were kind." Rose shifted her weight. "We thought you would be upset." Sam stepped aside. "You can come in." They entered. The house was quiet. They saw the gifts still under the tree. Rose swallowed. "We did not mean to hurt you," she said. Sam looked at them. "You did," he replied gently. They did not argue. Silence filled the room. Ben finally spoke. "We did not know you would be alone." Sam nodded. "Now you do." They left not long after. That night, Sam sat under the tree alone again. But he did not feel abandoned. He felt awake. And somewhere on the road, engines moved through the dark, carrying a promise that family does not always come from blood. The next morning arrived with clear skies and sharp light. Sam woke early, not from noise, but from a sense of purpose he had not felt in a long time. He brewed coffee and stood by the window, watching the snow melt into small rivers along the street. The world looked clean, like it had been given another chance. Sam put on his coat and stepped outside. He walked slowly, greeting neighbors, picking up small bits of trash from the sidewalk. It felt good to care for something that cared back, even in small ways. When he returned home, his phone buzzed again. This time, it was Ben. "Dad," Ben said, quieter than before. "Can we talk later today?" Sam paused. "You can talk now," he replied. Ben cleared his throat. "I was thinking about last night. About how we handled it." Sam listened. "I did not like how you looked when we left," Ben said. "You looked smaller." Sam closed his eyes. "I felt smaller," he said honestly. There was silence. Then Ben spoke again. "I want to make it right." Sam did not rush to answer. He had learned something important over the last 2 days. He did not need to chase words that were not ready. "Come by if you want," Sam said. "I will be here." After the call, Sam cleaned the house again, not because it needed it, but because movement helped him think. He set the table for 2, then paused and added a 3rd plate. He did not add more. By noon, a familiar rumble echoed down the street. Sam stepped outside and saw the motorcycles turning the corner. Mark rode at the front. He raised a hand when he saw Sam. "Morning," Mark said as the bikes came to a stop. "We are heading to the shelter." They asked for help fixing a heater. Sam smiled. "I can help with that." Mark nodded. "I was hoping you would say that." They drove slowly, Sam riding behind Mark, holding on with steady hands. The cold air felt sharp but honest. When they arrived, the shelter was busy. People moved with purpose. Children laughed near a long table. The heater sat quiet in the corner. Sam knelt beside it and examined the parts. He had fixed many things in his life. This was no different. With a few tools and patient effort, the heater came back to life. Warm air filled the room. Cheers followed. A woman thanked Sam and pressed a cup of soup into his hands. He accepted it with a nod. "You belong here," Mark said later, watching Sam speak with a young volunteer about broken chairs. Sam thought about that. Belonging had always felt like a place you earned by being needed. Today, he felt needed. When they returned to Sam's street, Ben's car was parked near the curb. Sam's heart beat faster, but he kept his face calm. Ben stood by the door when Sam approached. He looked nervous. He glanced at the bikes, then back at his father. "Hi," Ben said. "Hi," Sam replied. Mark removed his helmet. "We will give you space," he said to Sam. "Call if you need." Sam nodded. He watched the bikes leave, then turned to Ben. Inside, the house felt quiet but steady. Ben sat at the table and rubbed his hands together. "I was wrong," Ben said. "I put my plans first without thinking." Sam sat across from him. That happens, he said. What matters is what you do after. Ben looked up. I want to do better. Sam held his gaze. Then start by listening. Ben nodded and listened as Sam spoke about the long nights, the small hopes, the message that cut deeper than it should have. Sam did not raise his voice. He did not accuse. He spoke like a man who knew his worth. When Sam finished, Ben's eyes were wet. I did not know, he said. You did not ask, Sam replied gently. Ben swallowed. I am asking now. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Ben reached for one of the gifts under the tree. Is this for me? Ben asked. It was, Sam said. It still can be. Ben smiled, small and grateful. Later that afternoon, Rose arrived. She stood at the door, unsure. Sam invited her in. She apologized, not with many words, but with care. She helped make dinner. She laughed when the sauce spilled. It felt like the house remembered how to breathe. Liam did not come. Sam noticed, but he did not chase the absence. As evening fell, Mark returned alone. He carried a small box of tools. Thought you might need these, Mark said. Sam accepted them. Thank you. Mark looked around at the table with 2 children sitting there. He smiled. Looks like progress. Sam nodded. It does. Mark hesitated at the door. Family can be complicated, he said. So can roads. Sam smiled back. Both need patience. When the night settled, Sam walked Mark out. The street was quiet again. Snow reflected the moonlight. You changed my night, Sam said. Mark shook his head. You changed your own. As Mark rode away, Sam stood a little taller. Inside, laughter drifted from the kitchen. Sam knew not everything was fixed. But something important was. Winter did not end after Christmas. Snow stayed on the ground for weeks. Days passed slowly, one after another, like pages turning without hurry. Sam settled back into his routine, but it was not the same routine he had before. Something inside him had shifted. Each morning, Sam woke with a reason to get up. Sometimes it was small, like fixing a loose step for a neighbor. Sometimes it was bigger, like helping at the shelter with Mark and the riders. He did not wear their jackets or ride their bikes often, but he became part of their work. He carried boxes. He repaired broken things. He listened. Listening turned out to be important. People talked when Sam listened. They talked about loss, about long roads, about hope that felt thin but still real. Sam understood those feelings better than most. He did not try to solve every problem. He offered time, steady hands, and calm words. At home, the house felt alive again. Ben visited twice a week. Sometimes he brought groceries. Sometimes he brought nothing but himself. He stayed longer each time. He asked questions. He learned when to be quiet. Rose came on weekends. She cooked with Sam, even when they argued gently about salt and spice. She laughed more than before. She hugged Sam before leaving, something she had not done in years. Liam stayed distant. He called once. Then nothing for a while. Sam noticed, but he did not chase the silence. He had learned that love did not mean bending until you broke. It meant standing still long enough for others to find their way back. One cold afternoon, Sam sat on his porch with a cup of tea. Snow fell lightly. Mark's bike pulled up to the curb. You look comfortable, Mark said, removing his helmet. I am, Sam replied. Mark sat on the steps beside him. We are heading out tomorrow. Long ride. Sam nodded. Be safe. Mark looked thoughtful. You ever think about coming with us? Not the ride. The road work. The planning. Sam smiled. I am not built for speed. We need steadiness, Mark said. You have that. Sam considered it. I will think about it. That evening, Sam received another call. It was Liam. Dad, Liam said. His voice was different this time. Slower. Careful. Yes, Sam replied. I heard from Ben, Liam continued. About what you have been doing. About the shelter. Sam listened. I should have been there, Liam said. I was wrong. Sam felt the old ache, but it no longer ruled him. You were, he said. What do you want now? Liam hesitated. I want to visit. If that is okay. It is, Sam replied. They set a time. When Liam arrived days later, he looked uncertain. He stood in the doorway like a guest, not a son. Sam welcomed him calmly. They sat at the table where empty chairs once felt heavy. Liam spoke first. I did not realize how alone you were. Sam met his eyes. I did not say it out loud, he said. But it was real. I am sorry, Liam said. Sam nodded. I accept that. The words surprised them both. Liam stayed for dinner. He listened more than he spoke. When he left, he hugged Sam. It was awkward, but honest. That night, Sam sat by the window and watched the streetlights glow against the snow. He thought about Christmas Eve and the empty chairs. He thought about engines in the night and strangers who stopped. Family, Sam realized, was not a single shape. It was not always the people who shared your blood. It was the people who showed up when it mattered. The people who noticed when you stood alone in the cold. Weeks later, the snow began to melt. Spring pushed quietly at the edges of winter. Sam planted small flowers near the porch. Mark and the riders stopped by often. They shared coffee. They shared plans. Sam became part of their network, calling shelters, checking on elders, fixing what others ignored. He did not wear a badge or a patch. He wore patience. One evening, Sam sat at the table with all 3 children. It did not feel perfect. It felt real. They talked about work. About small memories. About mistakes. No one pretended the past had not happened. They simply chose not to repeat it. Later that night, Sam stood alone under the porch light. He looked up at the clear sky. He felt gratitude, not loud or dramatic, but steady. He had been betrayed. He had been hurt. But he had also been seen. And what stayed after the snow was something stronger than pain. It was belonging. Not given. Not demanded. Earned through kindness, courage, and the simple act of stopping when someone else kept walking.